audience has suddenly evolved multifold, especially post-COVID, because they suddenly got the exposure of international and world content. And all the makers, we took a little while to gauge the audience. We generally typecast the audience. Indian audience को तो यही देखना है, गुजरातीस को सिर्फ हंसना है, पंजाबीस को सिर्फ इसी में मजा आएगा. हमने यही कर करके ऑडियंस को इतना टाइपकास्ट कर रखा है because the makers were lacking somewhere. We are so rich just in our stories. कश्मीर से लेके कन्याकुमारी तक सब दादी नानियों की कहानी ले लोगे तो कितनी स्टोरीज हमने पास. एंड वी सडनली डोंट हैव गुड स्टोरीज. इफ ऐसा कोई बोलता है तो आई कांट अंडरस्टैंड दिस. इफ माई कंटेंट इज इंटेलिजेंट enough which requires audience to watch it intelligently, then they are engaged even more. I have to demand your attention.
Hi guys, this is Ankita Bhalla. You're tuned to Bollywood Bubble, and today Pratik Gandhi and Sejal Shah are going to tell me in simple terms, patriotism kya hai?
It's a feeling. It is something that you feel within yourself. I don't think it can be displayed by one particular way. It's like I love my mother, but that doesn't mean that in front of everyone I touch her feet every time. I just love my mother, and that's a feeling. I don't need to tell anyone.
Is it also stemming from the place of that our social fiber is such that, as she said, that everything has to be jingoistic, everything has to be chest thumping till the time there are not dialogues which incite a certain kind of, I won't say just emotion, hatred also. We don't consider it patriotism. Is that so?
Yeah, it is. So very interesting anecdote to this, a very interesting parallel to this. A lot of places, I've seen on stage also, there are a lot of actors. They are scared of pauses. You don't want to take pause. I think I'll lose the audience. I think just fill it up with extra music, extra movement, extra ad-libs. And these days you see everywhere we see this, right? Because we are so scared of silences, we are so scared of pauses, because we are not confident of what I'm talking about. That's the reason either my voice goes up, either I try to talk too much, I fill up with loud expressions. When you are extremely confident, you are still, you're calm, you are in control. The same thing is about patriotism. When you're confident about your country, when you know what you feel, what you mean, you are in control. But the moment you have no clue, you just want to communicate that I love my country, you start shouting. That's your first reaction. Because you don't know. The people that I've seen, I mean, largely we see everywhere. Sometimes it is so disturbing looking at the people and the way they behave is that I feel nobody likes their own country. They are not patriotic people. How are you behaving in your house like this? Patriotism itself is a feeling of love. And you don't have love for another person with you. That is not patriotism. It is the respect, it is the love, it is the ownership. And I take the ownership to fix things which are not right in my house. That is patriotism. It's not I hide it. I don't want to hide things. I want to fix it.
Yes.
And to fix it, the first thing halfway done is the moment you identify that there is an issue. If I don't identify the issue and I keep saying that everything is good, that's not patriotism. You are doing disservice not only to the country but to the generations. Today I have to be extremely conscious of whatever I say because I have a daughter who is constantly watching. There are kids who are constantly watching. They don't learn with what you say. They learn with what you do. I guess, so patriotism, if we actually have to understand, if we have to communicate, it is a deep down a feeling of ownership and something that you truly believe in.
Was that, Sejal, the idea that when you wanted to bring Saare Jahan Se Accha, in nutshell for me the show is you humanized spies. For us, spies were always either on this side of the spectrum or that. There was never a middle line. But in human life, we all are grays. We all have our ups and downs. That's what being, I think, human means. Was that also the reason, as he explained the definition of patriotism, that you didn't want to go the chest thumping route, but rather touch the emotional quotient?
Yeah, I think when they were writing it also, Bhavesh and Gaurav, when they were writing the show, I think all of us were very clear is that what is the kind of story we wanted to tell. And I think stories we tell are what are the beliefs we come from. And I think all of us here, if we believe that that is not the story we want to tell that of the loss of what happens when a war happens and how do you prevent it, because actually that is the whole idea, and nobody wants a war. And the series is about that. When you when you see Saare Jahan Se Accha, the audiences that have gone into, they are surprised they're seeing a show that actually there is a Pakistani agent who you have empathy for because he has his own journey. There's a Pakistani Indian spy who has his own journey, but everybody there is there because they are human. There's one thing, they love for their country, and secondly they are here to prevent a war. Nobody wants a war, because actually the people who want a war are not the ones who are going to die on the border. We all know that. We all might want to say, go attack, mere ghar se nahi. That's the whole idea. From my house, nobody should go. From the next door neighbor, they should go and fight it. So I think that was one of the reasons. And secondly, I think the strongest thing was that we wanted to show that these are ordinary people. See, when ordinary people do extraordinary jobs, that is what makes somebody a hero. When you're used to watching somebody jumping from trains and going with bullets and all that, they are superheroes, but we are talking about real people. Now, like suppose for example, what Pratik Gandhi plays in the, he's an ordinary guy who's trying to doesn't want to get married. He's filled with guilt because he feels he's responsible for the accident that happens. So here is an human emotional guy, and who's a boy next door. So when the boy next door is doing extraordinary things, risking his life, that makes him a hero. And I think those are the stories that have, and that is what has resonated very strongly with the audience.
Pratik, in your trajectory, you have always told me that there's an equal amount of entertainment of the content you want to put out, and of course the stories which mean something. When we do stuff like Saare Jahan Se Accha, do you think it also comes with this baggage of putting light to how you handle your national identity, how people are supposed to see you as this national figure? Does it?
I never thought in these lines before I started shooting for it. The only thing got me excited for this particular series, Saare Jahan Se Accha, and Vishnu's character, is that I have never seen, any film, nationally, internationally, where it shows spies
as humans
in these ways. I've never seen that. Hardly in a couple of things, right?
And very
like Razi did some
a little bit. They tried to a larger extent.
To a larger extent, there was this film called Spy
of
on
course.
Netflix that did it very well.
Oh, absolutely.
So I was very curious about who are these guys, because what we see is all the uniformed forces, those who are fighting the wars. Whereas here the narrative was completely flipped. Intelligence agents, spies, their job is not to fight the war. Their job is to avoid the war.
Stop the war at all costs.
Preventive action is even more important. It is like how we say in engineering world, preventive maintenance is more important than breakdown maintenance.
Exactly.
So that's a huge shift in your thought process when you talk about spies. So that got me excited, and that's when I felt a little, my only concern is that just make him real human. But I have to show the constant conflict, and they live under humongous moral conflict. Imagine somebody who knows about the nuclear facilities happening just across the border. He has to stop it. He has so much of information, but he can't share. Not even to his wife.
Yes.
And it's not easy. In today's world, you just see if you have just a little more information than somebody else, you just want to speak. You want to, flaunt, either you want to just talk about it. But imagine the way these guys live their lives. And such beautiful lines that their success will never be celebrated. But the brunt of the failure will be borne by the whole world. So you can't fail. There is zero chance of you failing. That was more interesting for me, to create a character. I never took that pressure of creating national hero. That was never in my mind.
You had this beautiful ensemble cast. I mean, anyone and everyone you could think of, from Sunny to Tilotma. how did you manage to get them on board? I mean, I know it's a very cliche question, but what a fantastic cast. It's like getting
Yeah.
theatre to screen. If I would have the theatre artist, I would say that.
Yeah, so I think when we were doing the casting, which was obviously we looked at each character and we wanted to get the best actor who would suit the role. So it was not always about what we wanted to get in terms of their performance and the character, and it was never that we want to get this star or we want to match this or that. We just were very lucky that I think this show has worked because it's fantastic ensemble of characters. The first actor, of course, we approached before we were started writing, but we were developing the idea was Pratik. And then, once we started having more characters ready, we started talking to actors. So we were like, I think everybody liked it because everybody had a story to tell. They were not props. Even the guys who were playing the Pakistani, they were not just there like the bad guys, they were not just villains. They all had emotions.
And thank you for not showing everyone just trying to fight over Kashmir for God knows.
Yeah.
That was a
yeah.
refreshing change.
And there was
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
else, like even Kritika Kamra, who she's playing her.
Yes.
She's also very nationalistic and patriotic in the film, and what she's
Yes.
doing is not, she's doing so that the war is prevented. So I think everybody had a story to tell. They were not props, and everybody had a human emotion, and they all wanted something for themselves or for their country, and I think that has worked. And the actors have played we just got very lucky with the actors. They were some of the best actors we worked with.
And on the behalf of all the actors, how much ever I've interacted
Yes.
with them and know them, we were all excited about the way they wanted to tell the story.
I
Like
get it.
Sumit was clear right from the beginning that this is how we are going to pitch. This is going to be the pitch and the sur of the script. Bhavesh, Gaurav, they were all absolutely clear what we wanted to do. And that got all of us excited.
The reason I asked you that previous question about that national identity also stems from the fact that Gandhi, and the only picture I have seen of Gandhi and the little bit stills I have managed to, from where I will not say, have seen. But it gets you excited. I just feel that suddenly you have this so-called moral responsibility, do you feel, on your shoulders to portray probably one of the most iconic figures when it comes to the national history.
The only moral responsibility I feel when I create these characters is that I constantly pray to God that please help me not judge the character. I don't want to judge the character, even after knowing the whole story about Gandhi's life. Even for same goes for even Vishnu's character. I don't want to judge.
But does
And
judgment
put the character on the pedestal.
But does the judgment affect the way you perform? Because if
It
I draw a
immediately-
parallel, Harshad was probably meant to be judged by all the people around him for his actions.
But
But-
when I create the character, I'm not supposed to judge the character. I'm
Hmm.
supposed to live the character. Imagine when Harshad Mehta also, whatever he did, he
Hmm.
never knew what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Now, on a hindsight, because we know the whole story, and when I'm creating a character, if I judge him by the end result, then I'm coloring the character right from the beginning. You will not enjoy watching that character. That doesn't work for you. If I play Gandhi with the thought in my mind that, okay, he was father of the nation and the Mahatma, now let's play Gandhi. It doesn't work. Then it's a single tone character. And most probably, these kind of portrayal might go only one side. So when my only effort and concern is not to judge the character. I don't want to, sympathize with the character. They just have to empathize with the character, feel the character at that point. Otherwise, what happens in current news?
I was going to say it. I'm like, in this current political climate, how do you manage to even do that? Because every character, especially when it comes from the lens of patriotism, is heavily judged and weighed down also and weighed upon also.
Yeah. But you see, ultimately what we forget largely is that they were all humans. They are all humans. I'm just taking an example and a parallel of the current news world. Earlier, when we used to listen to the news on DD, all the newsreader was toneless, straight-faced news reading.
No smile, nothing.
No smile, nothing. And there was a reason to it. The moment you smile or you put a little tone to it, you are already interpreting the news for me. So I'm consuming your interpretation. That's not the idea. Similarly, as an actor, if I create a character and I already judge the character in my mind and create him hero or villain, then there is a single tone judgment that I'm already giving it to you. You don't process it. I'm already processing it for you. Then it's not storytelling. then it is a one-sided thing that I'm just giving you. Here, these characters, the fun is you also explore it when you watch it, because each and every decision that they took in their lives, they never knew that after like 80 years people will say that, oh, he was a bad
It was like an
person.
ordinary human who ends up living an extraordinary life.
Exactly. That's the fun. So if you actually, scene by scene, dialogue by dialogue, if you also explore it, then it's fun. Then it is an engaging thing for you. That's what I try, at least.
Lastly, Pratik, in nutshell, I will not go to the entire statement. Are we facing a sort of bankruptcy when it comes to content in a digital space? This is at least my observation, purely as an individual. Something which started as a beautiful platform to tell long format where you could indulge, sink your teeth in, and go time and again and watch those things. Now, suddenly, it has become a place where everyone who at a certain point did benefit from this platform are also throwing big bats, saying कि content नहीं है, अश्लीलता है, ये है, वो है. गलत कहाँ जा रहे हैं हम? स्पेस तो अभी भी कंटेंट की है.
So, अश्लीलता और उसका तो चलो
वो तो इज डिफरेंट टॉपिक, वो सेल्फ एक्सप्लेनेटरी है.
वो बहुत ही अलग टॉपिक है. कहाँ कितनी जरूरत है और कितना फोर्स्ड है, वो अलग ही वर्ल्ड है पूरा. बट आई एम सेइंग लार्जली something and somewhere I think we are missing out on the understanding the audience. What I personally felt is that audience has suddenly evolved multifold, especially post-COVID.
Yes.
Because they suddenly got the exposure of international and world content. And they proved that we understand. We never got this. So we are ready for it. Audience suddenly evolved multifold, and all the makers, we took a little while to gauge the audience. Because largely all these years, we've always typecast the audience. We generally typecast the audience. Indian audience को तो यही देखना है. गुजराती को सिर्फ हंसना है. पंजाबी को सिर्फ इसी में मजा आएगा. हमने यही कर करके ऑडियंस को इतना टाइपकास्ट कर रखा है. एंड आई पर्सनली फील ऑडियंस हैज बीन टाइपकास्ट बिकॉज द मेकर्स वर लैकिंग समवेयर. सो टू कवर अप माई फॉल्ट्स आई टाइपकास्ट द ऑडियंस कि नहीं, उनको ये देखना इसलिए मैं बना रहा हूँ, बाकी मैं बहुत केपेबल हूँ. दूसरा ये हुआ है कि द प्लेटफॉर्म्स और द OTT प्लेटफॉर्म्स, they started off very well, fearlessly, experimenting with stories, and they said there is audience for everything. There was audience for everything. They got audience for everything. Audience also lapped it up. It worked very well. Now there is a fear. The fear is of numbers.
The fear is also of censorship, Pratik, somewhere.
Some censorship is one part, but I'm saying numbers is that I want TV watching audience on my platform. I want somebody who's watching Saas Bahu drama also on my platform. Now, when you start doing this, the whole thing is that the real idea of having a democratic platform is dying.
Exactly.
And you are so scared that you started creating a second screen experience already for the audience.
It's a template-based content. If you would have seen.
मतलब क्या हो रहा है? टीवी में क्या होता था? Why so many? आप जब सोचते भी हो तो मैंने वॉइस ओवर क्यों डाला है टीवी में? The logic is that somebody who's cooking in the kitchen, TV is on somewhere else. Even if you don't watch it, you listen to it and you know what happened. So you're constantly, anytime you can join the story and enjoy.
Yeah.
And you are not enjoying it. It is just some blabber happening.
It's a background noise.
Same logic that most of them are putting on the platforms now. Under the pretext that no, it's very difficult to get the audience's attention. They all are sitting with their mobiles. अगर थोड़ा भी इधर उधर हुआ ना तो they'll switch to their mobiles. Now, my counter understanding to this is, if my content is intelligent enough, which requires audience to watch it intelligently, then they are engaged even more. I have to demand your attention.
And it should also not be a dumb ground.
So मतलब वो dumb down वाला तो अलग ही ball game चल रहा है सब जगह.
Dumb and dump, both. Dumbing down the audience, as you were just
dumbing
telling
down
me.
तो मतलब I can't understand why do you underestimate the audience?
And then making it a dumb ground
Yeah.
for all the content which technically you think, okay, cannot make the theatrical numbers, so we'll push it here.
That's another thing.
That is, it's baffling.
Yeah, but it's baffling sometimes. And we are like, I guess, look at the culture. Multicultural country, the only country in the whole world.
So many stories.
And we have so many cultures, so many stories, so many languages. We are so rich just in our stories. मतलब सबके सारे कश्मीर से
शुरू
लेकर
करेंगे
कन्याकुमारी
आगे तो।
तक सब दादी नानियों की कहानी ले लोगे तो कितनी स्टोरीज अपने पास. We are a country of emotions, and we suddenly don't have good stories. If ऐसा कोई बोलता है तो I can't understand this. It's just that it's high time we should encash on it. I'm sure a lot of people are working hard. A lot of people are trying to do that, and it should happen soon. Yeah.
And I should also thank you guys as we conclude the conversation. I think a big shout out to the writers' room, to people who actually write these stories,
Yeah.
and to the creators who are willing to put their bucks on it, because somebody has to.
Writers
It
are
won't
the real
happen.
heroes.
Yeah, it can't happen in void.
Absolutely. Otherwise it will never happen.
Otherwise, we'll be still debating the same
Same thing.
conversation, and we will also be having the same thing, that why there is a lack of good things to read.
Yeah, so that fearless experiments are needed. Yeah.
Because there was a time, I think before closing it off, I would say that you switch on an OTT platform, एक ऐसा वक्त आ गया था, I never knew what to watch.
Yeah.
Everything and every cover,
It's the
everything
same.
looked the same. You had no idea exactly what are you watching. So here we are.
Yeah. But now I guess things are changing.
Let's
It will
hope
change
so.
soon for better.
Kudos to you, and kudos to I think everyone out there who's watching the content, making content, that please, we need fearless stories, and I think audience will also be getting a chance to get involved, because you don't learn anything or everything. हम देख रहे हैं content तो हमें भी समझ आ रहा है scope
I
कितना
know.
है.
So educating audience is also entertaining them.
So for once, let's not do the chest thumping of the patriotism, and thank you and congratulations
Thank
for
you.
it being a huge success.
Thank
Because
you.
I enjoyed it for the fact मैं बिल्कुल यही सोच के बैठी थी कि अभी कश्मीर आएगा,
हाँ.
कश्मीर नहीं आया, काफी अच्छा लगा मुझे कश्मीर नहीं आया. But we humanized something which we never thought of even discussing.
Thank you
Lovely.
so much.
I'm so glad you liked it. Yeah.
Thank
Wishing you all the best. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Ankita.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Sejal.
And I'm Pratik Gandhi, and you're watching us on Bollywood Bubble.